So very good morning to all of you. So let me welcome you all for this social class. So today we are going to learn the book back exercises of the lesson When People Rebel 1857 and after. So now let me start the fill in the blanks. Okay, the Roman one, fill in the blanks. Let me read the first question. The British annexed the kingdom of Jhansi by applying the policy of dash. So now you have to name the policy. With the help of the policy only, British annexed the kingdom of Jhansi. So now the answer is the British annexed the kingdom of Jhansi by applying the policy of doctrine of lapse. So now let's move to the next question. The next question is, in 1856, the East India Company declared that dash would be the last Mughal king. So the answer you know very well. So in 1856, the East India Company declared that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king. So now let me move to the third question. The third question is, during the Sipai mutiny, dash was made the Nawab of Lucknow. So the answer is, during the Sipai mutiny, Birjit Quadar. Okay, so Birjit Quadar was made the new Nawab of Lucknow. So let me move to the fourth question. Dash escaped to the forest of central India and continued the fight against the British with the help of peasants and tribal leaders. So the answer is, you know very well, Tandia Tope. Okay, Tandia Tope escaped to the forest of central India and continued the fight against the British with the help of peasants. Peasants means farmers and tribal leaders. So now let me move to the fifth question. The Governor General of India was given the title of dash as representative of the crown. So the answer is Viceroy. The Governor General of India was given the title of Viceroy as representative of the crown. So let's move to the next Roman. So the next Roman B is true or false. Let me read the first question. After the death of Bishwa Bajirao II, his adopted son Nana Sahib was given his father pension by the British. But the answer is false here. You know very well. So Nana Sahib, he was not given the pension after his father's death. Okay. So the answer is false. So now let me move to the next question. The next question is Awadh. Okay, Awadh was annexed by the company by its imposition of the doctrine of lapse. So the answer is false here because Awadh was not annexed by the doctrine of lapse. So it was annexed by the policy of subsidiary alliance in the year 1801. So the answer is false. So now let's move to the third question. The third question is, according to the British law, individuals who converted to Christianity could not inherit their ancestral property. So the answer is false here because as per the law, if the individuals who converted to Christianity, they could inherit their ancestral property. Okay, so now the answer is false. So now let me move to the fourth question. The fourth question is, Bahadur Shah Zafar was initially against the idea of challenging the British. So the answer is correct here because Bahadur Shah Zafar, so initially when Sipais approached him for the mutiny, so he refused. Okay, he was against the idea of challenging the British in the earlier stage, but afterwards he accepted the challenge. Okay, now the answer is true. So let me move to the fifth question. The British recognized the land rights of zamindars after the revolt of 1857. Yeah, this is also correct answer because after the Great Revolt 1857, so some laws were changed by the British. So one among them was the land rights of zamindars also. So now the answer is true. So now let me move to the next Roman. The next Roman is short answer questions. So let me begin the first question. Write a short note on doctrine of lapse policy introduced by Lord Dalhousie. You know very well, the policy of doctrine of lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie. Okay, so now let me begin the answer. Doctrine of lapse was a policy introduced by British to annex, you know very well, to join. Okay, to join those territories that did not have a male heir. You know very well. So if the king he didn't have the male heir, so those territories will be annexed with the British after his death. Okay, so now let me move to the second point. So that adopted sons were not considered legitimate heirs by the company. Underline the word legitimate. You know very well the legitimate means legal. They were not accepted by law. So the second point is adopted sons were not considered legitimate heirs by the company. Let me move to the second question. The second question is on what pretext did the British annex Awadh? Okay, so underline the word pretext, which means fake reasons. Okay, so there's some silly excuses. So now the answer is, you know very well, British was annexed. Okay, British was annexed by the British at the time. So the British, they gave a silly reason that British was not administrated properly. The administration of the British was not properly. The governance was improper. The governance was improper. So now let me tell the answer. British annexed Awadh on the pretext of misadministration. Misadministration, which means the administration was not proper. So now let me move to the third question. The third question is, why did the Sepoys oppose? Okay, why did the Sepoys oppose traveling by sea to Burma in 1824 to fight a war for the British? You know very well, in the year 1824, British asked the Indian Sepoys to go to Burma in order to involve in the war for British. So at that time, why the Sepoys they opposed, they refused? This is the question. Okay, so let me begin the answer. The Sepoys opposed travelling by the sea to Burma in 1824 to fight a war for the British because they believed that they would lose their religion and caste if they crossed the sea. The answer, you know very well, if they crossed the sea, okay, they believed that, so they would lose the purity of their religion and their caste. So this was the reason. So now let me begin the next question. The next question is, name the leaders who fought against the British from Lucknow and Kanpur respectively. So now we have to name the two people, those who fought against the British from Lucknow and Kanpur. The answer, you know very well. So Birjit Quadar, he fought against the British from Lucknow and Nana Sahib from Kanpur. Okay, let me read now. The leader who fought from Lucknow was Birjit Quadar and one from Kanpur was Nana Sahib. So now let me move to the next question. So now let me move to the fifth question. The fifth question is, what were the changes introduced by the British in the army after the Great Revolt of 1857? You know very well, after the Great Revolt of 1857, British, they brought many changes in India. Okay, in the rules, the law, and even in military, some changes were brought by the British. Okay, so now let me begin. The British increased the proportion of European soldiers in the army, which means the number of European soldiers in the army was increased. The second point is, they also decided to recruit more soldiers from amongst the 6 Gurkhas, Pathans instead of South India, Central India, Awadh and Bihar. So they started to recruit the soldiers from 6 Gurkhas and Pathans. So they started to refuse the soldiers from South India, Central India, Awadh and Bihar. The reason, you know very well. So these 4 places were the centers of revolt. Okay, the important centers of revolt. That's why the Sepoys from that area were refused. So now let me move to the next Roman. The next Roman is long answer questions. The first question is, how did the British plan to end Mughal rule in India? You know very well, so one of the cunning plan of British was to put an end to the Mughal dynasty in India. So now we are going to learn some plans of the British in order to give a full stop to the Mughal dynasty. So first point, the British planned to bring an end to the Mughal dynasty. Okay. Second point, the East India Company stopped minting the name of the Mughal kings on its coins. So you know very well, the second point is, the British, they stopped minting the coins. Okay, minting of the coins by the name of the Mughal kings. Third point, in the year 1856, it was declared that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king. You know very well, in 1856, British declared that Bahadur Shah Zafar was the last Mughal king. So let me move to the next point. The next point is the British also declared that his descendants would no longer be referred to as kings but only as the princes. You know very well already Bahadur Shah Zafar declared as he would be the last Mughal king. So like the same thing and his descendants. So his descendants refers to Bahadur Shah Zafar's descendants. So his followers, his generations. Okay. So his descendants would no longer be referred to as kings but only as the princes. They were only considered as the princes, not as the kings. Okay. So in the next point is in the year 1849 Lord Dalhousie announced that the family of the emperor would be shifted out of their ancestral home at the Red Fort and be accommodated elsewhere. So what is the point? In the year 1849 Lord Dalhousie he announced the family of Mughal they have to vacate from Red Fort and their ancestral palaces to somewhere else. They have to shift or they have to start to live in somewhere else. So this is the next point. Okay. So now we are going to learn the next detail. The next detail is what was the impact of Bahadur Shah Zafar's support to the rebellion on against the British. You know very well in one particular time. So Bahadur Shah Zafar he started to lead the mutiny. Okay. So he started to support the rebellions. So as a support of the Bahadur Shah Zafar, what was the impact? What was the impact created in India? So this is the question. So let me begin the first point. Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was chosen as the leader of the revolt of 1857 by the Sipais. You know very well the revolt which was started at Meerut first and then the Sipais they moved towards Delhi. Okay, so after reaching Delhi they met Bahadur Shah Zafar and they started to tell about the revolt. Okay, and they requested him to lead the revolt in India. Okay, so now let me begin the next point. So he was initially against, he refers to Bahadur Shah Zafar, he was initially against the idea of challenging the British. However, when Sipais came to Red Fort asking him to lead the revolt, he was left with no choice but to accept their offer. So at last without any choice because they made him as the leader, okay, the leader of the revolt. So without any choice, so finally he accepted the challenge. Okay. The point is he then wrote letters to many chiefs and rulers all over the country to unite as one and fight against the British. Yeah, you know very well. So afterwards Bahadur Shah Zafar he started to write letter to many rulers, many kings, many chiefs in order to unite and to fight against the British. Okay, point is soon many small chieftains and rulers became part of the revolt and the British were evicted from Delhi. You know very well. After the letter was written by Bahadur Shah to various kings, rulers, chieftains in India, they started to take part. Okay, they started to become a part of the great revolt and the British people, those who were living in Delhi at the time, they were evicted. They were evicted by the Indian people. They were forced to vacate from the place. Now let me move to the next point. So leaders in various regions such as Lucknow and Kanpur accepted Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader and continued the fight against the British. Okay, you know very well the people, okay, the leaders from Lucknow and Kanpur. For example, Birjit Gwadar, okay, he is from Lucknow and Kanpur, Nana Sahib from Kanpur, they accepted British Zafar as their leader and continued to fight against the British. So now let me move to the next point. The next point, you know very well, Bahadur Shah Zafar's support gave a new vigor to masses to fight against the British. Okay, vigor means power. Okay, so the participation of the Bahadur Shah Zafar that supported or that gave a good vigor, good power to the masses. Masses means here the rebellions only, okay, to fight against the British. The next point, so they were now fighting, they refers to the Indian people, okay, so they were now fighting to get back Mughal Empire, so which they consider to be better than the exploitative British. You know very well. So the British government was highly exploitative. Exploitative means loot. So taking the wealth of the country India. Okay. So even the people, they thought that So the what is that? The bringing back of the Mughal Empire would be better than the exploitative British government. So that's why the people they accepted Mughal, what is that? Bahadur Shah Zafar as the leader. So now let me begin the third detail. The third detail is how did British suppress the revolt? Okay, suppress, which means control. Okay, so first point, the British strengthened its military power or military by bringing in men and material from England and passing new laws to convict the rebels. Okay, so let me tell the first point. In order to stop, in order to control the revolt, British they brought men and material. Men means force. Okay, the soldiers from England and even the material from England. And not only that, so British they passed a new law to convict. Convict means in order to inform the rebellion as the criminals. Okay, so passing new laws to convict the rebels. So this was happened first. The second point is Delhi was recaptured from the rebel forces in September 1857 because so Delhi played a very important role. Okay, so that's why in order to stop the participation in Delhi, so it was recaptured by the British in September 1857. So this is the second point. So let me move to the third point. Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was captured and sentenced to life imprisonment. You know very well, Bahadur Shah Zafar, he was the leader of the mutiny, so that he was arrested, he was captured and he was sentenced. Okay, he was given the lifetime imprisonment punishment. Okay, so now let me move to the next point. His sons refers to Bahadur Shah Zafar's sons. Okay, so they were killed by the British and Bahadur Shah Zafar he was sent to prison in Rangoon in October 1858. Okay, he was sent to prison in what? In Burma. So Rangoon in Burma. Then you know very well, in the year 1862, later only he died there. But anyhow, the recapturing of the Delhi did not lead the end of the revolt, but British thought that so recapturing Delhi would be the end of the revolt, but it was not happen. So the people they didn't stop the revolt, and then so the revolt continued for almost 2 more years. You know very well, 1857 it was started, but the revolt was ended in 1859 only. So 2 years it took almost. So the revolt continued for almost 2 more years before the British could bring the rebels under control. Okay, so within the 2 years they recaptured Delhi and Lucknow, Kanpur and even central India like important places. So the next point is in March 1858 the company recaptured Lucknow. And in June of the same year, Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi was killed in the battle. Okay, the two things happened. What is that? The first year, 1858, Lucknow was recaptured by the British, and in the same year, but the month is June. Okay, at that time, Rani Lakshmibai was killed by the British in the battle. So now Central India, so Jhansi also recaptured by the British. To the next leader, you know very well, Tandia Tope. So Tandia Tope, what happened? So he escaped. Okay, he escaped to forest in central India, and then he sustained there. Okay, he what is that? He maintained the fight with the British with the help of some peasants and tribal people. Okay, help of peasants and tribal leaders. But eventually, even Tandia Tope also was killed by the British in April 1859. So now let me read. Tandia Tope, however, ran away to the forest of central India and sustained the fight with the help of peasants and tribal leaders, but was eventually killed by the British in April 1859. The hundreds of rebels, Nawabs, sepoys, kings and civilians. Civilians means a normal, common people. Okay, so they were tried and executed. The meaning of the word executed means sentenced to death, like in Tamil Marana Dandanai. Okay, so they were tried means punished. Okay, they were tried and even they were executed by the British. The last detail of the lesson, the last detail is what were the changes introduced by the British after regaining control over India in 1859. Okay, you know very well. So within 2 years they stopped the revolt, everything, and they made some changes. Okay, so what are the changes introduced by British after regaining control over India in 1859? So this is the question. So now let me begin the answer. Some of the changes introduced by the British after regaining the control over India in 1859 included, means I have listed out below the many changes. Begin the first point. The first point is passing the new act by British Parliament in 1858 transferred the power of India from company to the British Crown. Okay, let me explain you. You know very well, in the year 1858, so the British Parliament which enacted a law. Okay, the law means a new act. So according to the new act, so India, okay, which the India is transferred from British East India Company to directly to the British Crown. So this is the first point. So according to the act, all matters related to the governance of India were handed over. Secretary of State for India was appointed. Okay, so and his duty is to take care or interfere in the affairs of India. All matters, okay, all matters related to governance of India were handed over to the Secretary of State. So the Secretary of State, you know very well, the person, he was one of the member of British Cabinet. And the secretary also had a council. He had one group of people. So that council, you know very well, which is known as Indian Council. So that council members, they advised him on important matters. So let me move to the next point. The Governor General of India was given the title of Viceroy, who was a representative of the Crown. You know very well. So the name of the post has been changed. So the Governor General was given the title of Viceroy. Okay, so he used to call by the word Viceroy. So Viceroy means the representative of the Crown. He was the representative of the Crown. And then through all these measures, India came under the direct control of the British government by by appointing a Secretary of the State, and you know very well, he was the member of the British Council and the British Cabinet. And one more thing, by the new act, okay, by the new act, directly India entered into the British Crown. So these are all some of the measures. And finally, so British also annulled means, what is that? Declared something is invalid. Okay, so what they annulled, British also annulled the policy of doctrine of lapse and recognized the right of an adopted son. Okay, you know very well. So the doctrine of lapse, the policy, you know very well, and how the policy treated the adopted son also we know very well. So now the British annulled means, you know very well, announced the law as the invalid. Okay, so the British also annulled the policy of doctrine of lapse, and the British, they started to recognize the right of an adopted son. They also assured that the native rulers that their territories would not be annexed in future on the condition that they accept the British Queen as their sovereign paramount. So the next point is about the British. It give the assurance, okay, it promised the native rulers that their places would not be annexed in future, but only one condition, they have to accept British Queen as their paramount, sovereign paramount. The word sovereign paramount means supreme authority. Only one condition. So the Indian rulers, they have to accept the Queen as their supreme authority. So if they accepted, their place would not be annexed in future. This is the one thing. So and then the British, they started to grow suspicious of Muslims, as they regarded as the Muslims to be the source of the revolt. So they grew suspicious, they started to suspect the Muslims were the source of the great revolt. And then result of their suspect, they started to confiscated, okay, confiscated which means seize. In Tamil we used to say parimudal, okay. So they started to confiscate, and that Muslim peoples were treated with the hostility. So the word hostility which means enmity. Okay, so because of their suspicions, they started to capture, they seized all the properties and they treated them as their enemies. So this happened one side, and then the last point, you know very well, the British also framed the policies to protect the land rights of zamindars. Already we have learned in one words. Okay, also framed policies to protect the land rights of zamindars. Okay, in order to protect the land rights of zamindars, they framed some policies, and then you know very well some changes were introduced, and one of the changes in army also, in military also. So they introduced some changes in the army which included increasing the proportion of Europeans, as European soldiers, and recruiting more soldiers from amongst Sikhs, Gurkhas and Pathans instead of South India, Central India and Awadh and Bihar. So this point already we have learned in short answer. Learned already about this military changes. The number of European soldiers was increased, whereas the people most of the people they started to recruit from Sikhs, Gurkhas and Pathans, and the people from the sepoys from South India, Central India, Awadh and Bihar, they refused. The reason also we know very well. So those four places are the very important major places of the Great Revolt 1857. So these are all some of the changes were introduced by British after regaining control over India in 1859. We move to the page number 47. In the page number 47, there are 14 events they have given. So that event should be arranged in a chronological order. So chronological order means based on the month and the year, we have to arrange one after another. So let me begin the first one. The first one is Battle of Buxa in the year 1764. The second one is subsidiary alliance imposed on Awadh. It was happened in 1801. So the third one is Sepoys reluctant to cross the sea and go to Burma to fight a war for the British. So this was happened in the year 1824. Next one, a law is passed that allows converted Christians to inherit property. So this happened in 1850. So the next one, Lord Canning declares the Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal emperor. So this happened in the year 1856. So let me move to the sixth one. So 29th March 1857, you know very well, a sepoy named Mangal Pandey who attacked his officer. Okay, so let me move to the seventh one. 10th May 1857, sepoys of Meerut regiment set out for Delhi to meet Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar. Okay, so the 8th one, September 1857, so Delhi recaptured from the rebel forces. And the 9th one, March 1858, look at that, it has been arranged according to the month as well as year. Okay, so March 1858, so Lucknow recaptured from rebel forces. The last one, June 1858, Rani Lakshmi Bai defeated by the British forces. The last four events. Okay, so the first one, August 1858, British Parliament passes a new act transferring the East India Company's powers over India to British Crown. Okay, so this happened August 1858. The next one, October 1858, Bahadur Shah Zafar sent to prison in Rangoon. And in April 1859, Tandia Top captured, tried and killed. Okay, so the 14th one, this is the last one. So November 1862, Bahadur Shah Zafar dies in imprisonment. Okay, so these are all the 14 events which are given in page number 47. So we have arranged in a chronological order. So now let's move to the next Roman of your book. The Roman number is E. So name and mark the following on the outline map of India. So here they have given a question. So the question consists of 3 places. Okay, so let me show the question now. 2 questions which is given here. One is the present day state where Jhansi is located. The second question is 2 main centers of revolt of 1857. Answer for the given question. So look at that. So first 2 places, so Meerut and Delhi. Okay, so any 2 places you can mark. For example, we have marked Meerut and Delhi. And the next question, present day Jhansi. So look at the 3 places. And so far we have completed the lesson fully, and as well as the book back questions for the lessons also. So thank you so much. We will meet in the next class.